Good morning, students. So let us start the class for inheritance chapter. So in the last classes, I discussed what is inheritance, what is a base class, what is a subclass. Is it right? So what is a inheritance? Inheritance means it is a process of deriving the properties from the base class to the subclasses. Okay. So what is this base class then? So base class is a class from which we can able to derive the properties for the next lower classes. Okay. So then what is a derived class? So derived class is a class which is obtained from the base class. Okay. So next what we discussed, how it can be a derived for the next inheritance level. So that is, it can be a publicly derived, it can be a privately derived, it can be a protected derived. Okay. So with respect to this, I gave some chart. Is it right? So we'll see that chart. So here you can see here. So this is a base class. Okay. So this is a derived classes. Assume all these three things are derived classes. So here in the public mode what happens? In the private mode how the inheritance happens. In protected mode how the inheritance happens. We'll see. Okay. So moving to the next slide. So in the next slide we are seeing public inheritance. So what is this public inheritance? We'll see. So this is the one of the most used inheritance in the inheritance concept, that is in OOP. This public inheritance is most used inheritance. So here you can see public members. So public members of the base class becomes public members in the derived class. So whatever there is in the members which is there in the base class, so same members will act as a derived class, but it will be acting as a public member itself. Okay. So next is the private members. So the private members of the base class cannot be inherited. So observe here. So points I have highlighted, please make down that. So private members always cannot be inherited with respect to public inheritance. So next is protected members. So how the protected members in the base class react is, so when the protected members of the base class are there in the public inheritance, so it can stay protected itself in the derived class also. Okay. So what I mean is, so look at this diagram. So here you can see, assume this is a base class. So this is a base class, this is a derived class in the public mode. If the base class member is public, so then the derived class it will be a public. If the base class member is private, it cannot be inherited in the derived class. If the base class member is protected, so it can be protected itself. So this is only I mean in the this explanation. Okay. So I think you all understood. So most important point is, so whenever there is this private members in the base class, so it cannot be inherited. Okay. So we shall see some program example for this in the next slide. So here you can see as usual I have included some header file. So that header file is what? For C++ program. So that is iostream.h. So then I have included some base class. So base class is what here? This is a base class. So then I have included the subclass. So this is the subclass. Rectangle is the subclass. And base class is what? The derived class. Okay. So base class is, shape is the base class. Rectangle is the subclass. So here you can see side 1 and side 2 are what? The members of the base class, but it is derived in a public manner. So with respect to public access specifier, it is derived. It is there. So next you have derived a class called rectangle. So which is using the properties of the base class, and it also has one function. So what is that function? Compute. So it has a data member, that is int area. Okay, it is also declared with access specifier, that is public. So usually compute function, what it does, it calculates or computes the input whatever we give, is it right? So it is just calculating one simple formula for rectangle, so that is length into breadth. So okay, so how this is accessed in OOP is with respect to object. So what is the object here? I have created R. R is the object created. So R object has to access all the three members. What are that? Side 1 it has to access, side 2 it has to access, and then it should access even the compute function. So that is R dot compute. Okay, so after accessing this, it has to print the whatever the value it has got by compute function. So it has been printing here in the cout statement. So what is the matter is here, you all have to understand that here whatever the base class and subclasses are there, so whenever this base class has a public data members, so it can be inherited in the inherited subclasses publicly. Okay, so this you should keep in mind. So I hope you all understood this public inheritance. Okay, so in public inheritance, what happens whenever the base class is public? Whenever the base class is public, it will be a public in derived class. Whenever the base class is private, it is not inherited. Whenever the protected, it will be protected. Okay, so keep this table in your mind rather than the explanation. Okay, so if you keep this table in your mind, you can write own answers. Okay, so next is private inheritance. So private inheritance, what happens in private inheritance, we'll see. So in private inheritance, if the base class has public members, so it will become what? Private members, because it is a private inheritance. So whenever there is a private inheritance, even though you are having a public members in the base class, but it will become a private members of the derived class. Okay, so this you should keep in mind. So what happens to this private members then? So private members cannot be inherited at all. So in derived class it cannot be inherited. So next, what happens to this protected members? So protected members of the base class stay protected in the derived class itself. So wherever this protected members is there, it will be a protected. So how you can define that is, see, class, derived class, this colon, private, base class name. So derived class name should be there, private should be there as access specifier, and base class name should be there. Okay, same wise if there is this public inheritance, here the keyword access specifier used should be public. Okay, dear students, so this is a private inheritance. So next is protected inheritance. So in the diagram itself you can see this block diagram. So if there is a protected inheritance, means what happens? So you can see here, if there is a protected inheritance, if the data members are public, so it can be protected. If the data members are private, it is not inherited. Protected, so it will be a protected. So this is a protected inheritance, how it will behave. So we will see that now. So if the members are public in the base class, so in the members are public in the base class, so it will be a protected. If the members of the base class are private, so it will not be inherited further. So if the base class members are protected, so it will be a derived class. So that is protected in the derived class. So how it is defined? Class, derived class, colon, protected, base class. So whatever here you are seeing, this is a derived class name, so this is access specifier, so this is a base class name. I hope you all understood this protected inheritance as well. So we'll see the chart again. So see, whenever you are having this base class as public in public mode, so it can be a public itself. Whenever you are having a private, it cannot be inherited in all the three modes. Whenever it is a protected, it cannot be inherited in all the three modes. Only in public inheritance you can inherit it, but it will act different in a different modes. Okay students, I hope all of you understood today's simple concepts, that is how the inheritance can vary from one perspective of inheritance to other perspective. So in next class we'll see the types of inheritance. So if you are having any questions regarding the any concept like OOP or inheritance chapter, you can call me or Vinay sir. Okay, thank you all.